Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we are here again to have discussions on the things happening in Nigeria. And of course, breaking news all over the place is that the National Association of Nigerian Students has insisted on embarking on a nationwide protest come 15th of September. And of course, Omoyele Sowore has also suggested that putting a date to this very protest may not be reasonable, but for Nigerians to protest as immediate as possible. This is coming from Omoyele Sowore, who has called for an immediate protest due to this very fuel price hike. Then, of course, we have the federal government who has announced that only Nigerians, civil servants with national identification number that will benefit from the sale of 40,000 naira per bag of rice. So whenever there is a protest or Nigerians has reasonably risen up to protest, the federal government will bring rice. We keep saying whether rice is the problem of Nigeria. Again, we are also going to be discussing the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, which has stated in a press release that the PMS price are determined by free market forces. However, we also know that they have set prices that are to be used by different geopolitical zones in Nigeria. The filling stations, the prices that they have given, we feel is an entrapment. However, we'll continue. Then, of course, we are going to talk more on the Trade Union Congress that has warned the federal government, saying that this very recent PMS price will cause social unrest in Nigeria. Why is the TUC not taking it up on going an immediate protest is still unclear. But again, there is so much more to talk about, even as has responded to being declared wanted by the Nigerian security authorities, describing it as the cost he must bear for speaking the truth. Welcome to the program Hope Alive. With me to have all of these very discussions are well-meaning Nigerian active citizens who put their time on each day to join the Obidient Family TV to discuss and give their opinions on the issues bedeviling the nation that is suffering at this very time. This is a nation in distress. So we'll be starting with our conversation on the promises of this administration, the fuel increase and what is happening in Nigeria, and of course, the issue of the press release on NNPC. I'll be starting Mr. Bassi, who always, give us very direct information on his insights into these issues. He analyzes this thing clearly, the way Nigerians expect it, unbiased. So, Mr. Bassi, welcome to the show. Others will be joining us shortly. Let's, my question that I want to start with, Mr. Bassi, today is, let me first of all welcome you before I start my question. Mr. Bassi, are you there?
Me.
Oh, thank you. Welcome. Now, my question is, what I really find particularly intriguing is that last week, this same Tinubu administration trying to find a way around the fuel scarcity in the country, and the fact that the fuel now sells for as much as 1,300 naira per liter in parts of the country, directed the NNPC to use its 2023 final dividends due to the Federation to pay for petrol subsidy. In other words, the federal governments, particularly Tinubu, wants the payment of dividends to the Federation to be suspended to boost NNPC's cash flow. That was what was said before Chief Bola Tinubu left for China. On its part, NNPC says it will be unable to remit taxes and royalties to the Federation anyway because of ongoing subsidy payments on what it calls subsidy shortfalls and FX differentials. They don't call it subsidy removal, they call it subsidy shortfall and FX differential. That is the word. In summary, NNPC says it has been paying subsidy and the federal government says it should pay more. This is enough to talk, to make anybody have a headache. For the same Tinubu administration since May 29, 2023 has insisted that there was no subsidy at all in Nigeria, even when everyone, including the International Monetary Fund, reported that the first subsidy had been reintroduced as far back as December of 2023. Of course, we also have the likes of Nasir El-Rufai and others who told us that the government had reintroduced fuel subsidy. We have Senator Atiku Bagudu, that is the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, saying that this was not true, quoting the PIA law and insisting that, in fact, the government was saving money from the removal of fuel subsidy, up to about 400 billion monthly. Now, coming to you, Mr. Bassi, what are your thoughts on these irregularities, on these things that they keep going back and forth? As of today, they are talking about Dangote to fix his own price of how much you want to sell PMS. On the other hand of their mouth, they are saying that it is being regulated by the market FX forces. What are your thoughts on this? What is your opinion on what is actually going on right now? Especially as the National Association of Nigerian Students has insisted, the function that really want to help Nigerians out.
This issue about petroleum sector, it's that is playing Nigeria, toasting Nigeria front and back, making Nigerian looks as if they don't have brains. I can't imagine why they will be doing what they are doing, because when you look at the entire this thing, I've always said that issues around petroleum subsidy, downstream sector, and to a large extent, even the upstream sector, is shrouded in secrecy because government don't want to come clean. And the reason why they don't want to come clean is because of the corruption going on in that sector. That sector is notorious for corruption. And when we look at some of these things, it baffles me that the government that claims that they have hands-off issues of fuel subsidy are still doing it on the hand without people, without any sense of responsibility. And you notice that a few days ago, there was a circular that came out and from NNPC instructing how fuel should be sold across their station in Nigeria in different zones. And when you look at that and you ask yourself, this is the same NNPC who said they have hands off the downstream sector to OVH to run. Why are they now the one now fixing the price? Why are you saying the industry is deregulated, and then you are still fixing prices? And you said you don't have anything to do with downstream sector anymore, yet you are still fixing prices. Who are you fooling? It's because they don't want to let go of this petroleum subsidy. But they are at the same time, they are trying to deceive Nigerians to believe that there is no subsidy. I mean, there is petroleum subsidy going on. Meanwhile, they are paying subsidy through the back door. So the whole issue about petroleum sector is a corrupt enterprise. And the way forward is that the president, who doubles as the petroleum minister, needs to hands off from that ministry Because as it stands, nobody can carry out a legitimate review or forensic investigation in that, yes, in that sector, because of the person who is sitting at the helm of the affair. And I noticed that sometimes ago, the Senate said they are going to investigate. Who are they going to investigate? Are they going to investigate the man who is the commander-in-chief? It's not possible. They are just deceiving Nigerians, telling Nigerians what is not real.
Yeah, yes, I understand all of that, Mr. Basi. But don't you think that now that the lie that you're talking about, and we all are talking about, is out in the open, don't you think that the minimum that the Tinubu's administration can do is to stop the continuing cycle of deceit and the hypocrisy on the fuel subsidy issue? At least the deceit should stop for Nigerians. In the era of transparency and accountability, the word of the government should be its bond. A government can admit that it made a mistake and it has found cause to change its mind. Or what do you think?
Transparency is far away from this. Transparency is far away from this government. They don't understand anything about transparency. So don't even expect transparency from this government. The truth is that they have been entrapped in the whole thing, and it's difficult for them to even let go because of the juicy things that are going on in that industry. Take, for instance, the NNPC group managing director, like I said, should not even be in that place. A man who has not been able to manage NNPC effectively, efficiently, and profitably shouldn't be in that place. He keeps telling Nigerians lies, all manner of lies, and he's still there. And the reason why he's there is because he is doing the intentions of the executive. So they put him there for a purpose, and he's doing exactly what they want him to do. So Nigerians are seeing it differently. So when we are saying Mele Kyari shouldn't be there, we are speaking from the point of transparency. But the people that are putting him there knows exactly that he is doing their bidding, and of course he's doing their job. So in their rating, the man is doing very well. But we are, from this point of view, we are seeing it differently. So it's high time Nigerians should rise up. I'm even saying that the next protest should be about NNPC. So it should be about NNPC. It should be that the man at the entire board of NNPC should go. For instance, who is the person leading the NNPC as the chairman, chairing the board? Is Bola Tinubu's godfather. That's the man who brought him into Mobile All Nigeria Limited. He was working under the man. While the man was the executive director, he was the treasurer. So how would you think things like that there will be transparency in that kind of environment? I doubt it. So it's impossible. It is going to be impossible for that to happen. So I want Nigerians to take this, and the next protest should be about NNPC, because that is the engine room of our economy. And if we don't get it right there, it is obviously going to affect our economy. So it is important that we do it right. And look at how they are frustrating Dangote in the first place. Today, NNPC will say, oh, they don't have any agreement to lift Dangote oil. They are free to lift from anywhere. It's because they are benefiting from wherever they are importing fuel from. So Dangote's business means nothing to them, because as long as Dangote's business is there, it's going to rob them off of the profit they have been making, all the atrocities they've committed against Nigerians. So look at what it is. Today, you will notice that from this thing, Dangote brought out his quality. His quality is about the best. So why would they not choose to go and buy Dangote product and distribute it across the nation? But because they know what they are benefiting from. And it's unfortunate. Nigeria is a criminal enterprise. So, and it's being led by the executive, by Chief Bola Tinubu and his gang. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bassi, on that. And let's quickly go to Lord K. Lord K, let's take your take on the issue of the protest that is coming up, because it is no longer news in Nigeria now that there is going to be protests, or rather that protest is imminent in Nigeria due to the increase in fuel hike. The TUCs are talking about it, the NLCs are talking about it. Of course, the only ones that have declared the protest is the Nigerian National Union of students. So the Nigerian Students Union have decided, but we also have a function that being sponsored by the son of Chief Bola Tinubu, which is Sheyi Tinubu, and those ones are saying they are not going on strike. Do you think that the other function of the NANS that have told Nigerians that are going for this very protest, do you think that they may be backed by Nigerians based on the prevailing circumstances in Nigeria now?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, Obedience around the world, fellow panelists and everyone in the studio. Thank you for that question again. And I mean, the protest, like we all know, is something that's the country actually needs right now. We need people that will form that formidable force. We need an organized protest, which of course I believe the students of Nigeria will actually serve the purpose right now. They should serve the purpose right now, because as we can see, the NLs and the TUC, they are of no use to anybody. They are all about their own stomach infrastructure, and I mean, they only come out when it affects them. So the ordinary citizens, they need to come out and defend themselves, and that is who the students are actually now the best people to actually orchestrate all this. Now, if the students are out, and the general public now see that yes, their children are out fighting for their interests, fighting for their welfare, I believe that will pull in enough crowd, pull in enough people to actually support them. And whatever is going to be happening, I believe it's going to be about the hunger in the land, the problem with NNPC, and I mean the general welfare of the country. These are students that cannot, as we speak right now, go back to school with, I mean, their normal allowances or even pay their school fees. Why? Because it's out of their parents' reach. It's out of their own reach. So the other faction that is actually now saying, oh, they are not going on protest, I believe those are the ones sponsored by the government. Just like as what they did when the August 1st to 10th protest came up, that the government actually sponsored a group of individuals to attack the protesters. So that is what's going on with that group saying, oh, there's nothing happening with the National Association of the Students Union. So we all believe that, yes, the legitimate union for the students are actually angered and they are coming out for this protest. And we want that to stand and people to support them. Support them because they are fighting for our good. They are fighting for our welfare. They are fighting for the progress of the country. The NLC, TUC, they are of no use now, right, as we speak. They have all gone into hiding. So what do you expect? What do you expect? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another thing I want to know, hear from you, your opinion on is there is also a post from Omoyele Sowore. In the post on his X account, Sowore expressed frustration with the current administration under Chief Bola Tinubu, and he wrote important notice that please let's reiterate that nobody needs to wait for October 1st, 2024 for the fearless in October. He said the Tinubu regime is continuing to hurt the people of Nigeria without ceasing. Nigerians are at liberty to revolt at any time of their choosing. Now, my question to you is, for some time now, Sowore has been pushing for, for a very serious protest, and he keep pushing that. But he seems to be far away to be, an activist who can be on ground here to actually make those things happen. Don't you think it is about time that he comes down to Nigeria to make those things happen, and rather than just put it on the tweet? Don't you think he should lead the people and make, somebody needs to be at the leadership helm of the protest? Don't you think it's about time that he comes down here and confront it?
If being on ground or not being on ground will be or will have any effect on this, because this is something that's happening to everybody. This is something that we all know, that there is hunger. So all we need now is the initiative. It doesn't have, I mean, they don't have to be a lead man that will say, okay, stand in front and then you start shouting or whatever. That's not necessary right now. As long as the purpose of the protest is known, the integrity of the protest is known, and then what else do we want? Sure, being on ground or not on ground doesn't make any difference. The people are hungry. The students cannot afford their fees. They cannot stay in school hungry. What is going to happen?
The reason why I brought that up is that during the last round of protests that lasted 10 days in August, Tinubu was reportedly signaling a willingness to negotiate with organizers, but Sowore's latest statement indicates that waiting for the official protest date is no longer necessary, as Nigerians can rise up at the government whenever they feel. But I just feel that if somebody needs to be around to actually have a negotiation with the government, we might get some of these things done, because you need an organized group that could actually have that very sort of negotiation or discussions outside of the NLC that is really for the Nigerian workers, but not the generality of Nigerians.
I see that as an excuse that has no meaning, because in as much as we have leaders like with the NLC, the TUC, that actually went for dinner instead of going for negotiation at Aso Rock, I believe whatever they are going to come up with is just to trap anybody that will actually come out to say, okay, he's leading or he's the organizer of whatever is happening. The government knows what's happening. They understand the gravity of the hunger in the land. They understand the economic situation that people are going through. So waiting to negotiate with what's the negotiation going to do? Have they not got common sense to see the problems? So is it by negotiating with an individual that they can start doing anything? I think that's a flimsy excuse that makes no meaning.
Okay. The other thing I want your opinion or your own contribution in this very issue of rice. Each time that Nigerians want to go into a protest, we just see federal government coming out with rice, sharing rice. And when August protest was ongoing, they talked about rice going everywhere. Now that protest is about to start again, they are talking about rice. And I don't know what your thoughts are. Is it rice that is our problem? And this time around, 40,000 naira bag of rice I've been talking about, they said that is only for Nigerians, civil servants with national identification numbers that can only buy these very 40 bags of rice. What are your inputs on this?
That's also laughable. That's very, very laughable. Okay. If they are specifying that only Nigerians or only federal government workers that can
you complain about unemployment
bag of rice for 40,000. So what happens to the all 97% of Nigerians? What happens to them? What happens to them? So go and die or eat sand. This rice issue, I believe, is some kind of occultic covenants that they have made with Nigerians, that if they come up with any problems, it's just give them rice, and they'll shut up. It's about time we all know their trick. It's about time we know their method of operation. So nothing they are doing right now that is strange, that is new to what Nigerians know already. When they are going for election, to buy the citizens, they bring out rice. When you protest, you ask for anything, they bring out rice. When you ask them anything in the Senate, they bring out rice. Is rice the solution to Nigerians' problem? Can rice actually be the problem? Can rice be the problem we have right now?
Talking about your, you just mentioned something about spiritual and all that. I don't know if you recall that there were several prophecies that happened during and after the election of 2023, just last year. Several people prophesied about a doom coming in. I don't know if that is what is actually taking effect in Nigeria. I want you to take a listen to one Yoruba prophet that actually talked about what will befall the Nigerian state if Tinubu is elected. The man was very, very clear that if Tinubu comes to power in Aso Rock, that Nigeria is going to suffer tremendously. That everything in Nigeria is going to skyrocket. I looked at that very video and I was like, is this is looking like what like a prophecy, coming to pass, because he was very clear. He was talking in Yoruba and that's something, but later he translated it to English, that there is going to be a very serious famine in the land, that people are going to suffer. There is so many. Let's take a listen to what this man said, and let's see if some of these very prophecies may be true, just because you talked about spiritual things befalling Nigeria or having some sort of spiritual forces that is against this very Tinubu's administration. Let's take a listen.
Or succeed. And that's what God is telling our Father in the Lord. If you decide to vote, if Tinubu wins, all of you are going into John. That is God has spoken. Just let it go live. Let it go live as spoken. That's we have said it. Let me say in English so that the world understands. Okay, sir.
If Nigerians vote for APC,
Nigeria
will sink. In poverty. The economy will be in shambles. If the government of APC continues, Nigeria will suffer extraordinary. I'm not in support of anybody. As a matter of fact, I don't vote, and I will never vote. I am telling you that we have never seen Archie before. Then this is when we now experience more Archie. We will be sick. The economy will be sick. I'm not saying anybody should like.
We have just listened to what that very prophecy from one Yoruba prophet who prophesied that a doom will come over Nigeria when Chief Bola Tinubu takes office. This happened a while ago, and of course we have several people who prophesied on this. But I just want to bring it to our attention because Loke has said some sort of spiritual things are happening in Nigeria, but I know a lot of people prophesied that there is doom coming to Nigeria when Chief Bola Tinubu takes over. So I think we should understand that, and also say we also have the likes of the redeemed man who came the other time to talk about Nigerian problem being spiritual, but he did not prophesy the same thing that this man did, that when Chief Bola Tinubu takes office there's going to be trouble, because that is what obviously we just saw from that man. Now, in as much as I may not be promoting anybody, I just want us to reflect back on what has been said by different people. Now, back to the something. Rice. We see that very video that is trending. We talk about fuel hike, rice. We talk about different things in Nigeria, rice. Let's even take a listen to that again and then come back. Okay, Mr. Tony, let me quickly get to you. But before then, Mr. Tony, let's listen again to what is popular with Nigerians, rice. Let's take a listen.
Rice. You complain about unemployment, rice. Yes. You complain about the fact that, oh, we are hungry, rice. You say we want to protest, rice. You say, oh, you don't have medical facilities, rice. You say you don't have good schools and good teachers, rice. You say minimum wage, rice. It's rice. Can't solve all the problems. Rice. You complain about unemployment.
It has been about rice. This 40,000 naira rice again is surfacing, but this time around it is no longer for people to fill their information on a Google form again, but this time around they're looking at taking it from the national identification numbers, and it's only going to benefit civil servants. What are your thoughts on this? Is it any time that Nigeria is engrossed with another protest coming, they bring rice? And Mr. Tony, I also heard some reports coming from Enugu that the state government is banning people from the use of the use of solar panels to lighten up their place, and also they are banning the use of generators. What is really going on with the Enugu state government, Tony?
Oh my God. Thank you for having me, and fellow Nigerians, I welcome you. Enugu State is something else. It is a state where one individual, maybe with 2 or 3 others, are making decisions alone. They don't talk to their commissioners. If you are a commissioner and you want to see the governor, it's only by Zoom. So the governor is just sitting down there making decisions, making pronouncements that have no basis in governance. I don't know where he's coming from. People in Enugu State are mesmerized. They can't explain what is actually going on. Even his political guys, members in the PDP, are even overwhelmed by
but Mr. Tony, I want to get this clear. The government provided some sort of light, or some sort of NEPA 24 hours light that they said that they are selling everybody not to use generator. I really need to understand it, and of course I believe that our viewers really right now we want to know why Enugu state government is banning the use of generator, and most disturbing is the one of the what do they call it? Is it what is this? Yeah, solar panels, because I don't think solar panels is renewable energy, or what do they call it? It doesn't bring any sort of toxic to the environment. So why would a government that is unable to provide light for its citizens banning the use of solar panels and generators in a state?
Madness. And that's probably why I don't quite believe that is actually going to implement this policy. If actually it's a policy that is concluded that is going to implement, how can you surcharge people using solar panel, which everybody is advocating for, but it's still expensive for most people to install? Otherwise, you will be seeing solar panels everywhere because of light problems we're having in this country. Okay, go to generators. How can you tax people who have generators? How many people are you going to, who doesn't have generator in his house because of the epileptic power supply we have in this country? How are you going to do that? And I think what is going on is this guy and his regime is just taxing everything they can lay their hands on, taxing everything they can think of. Isn't it madness that you are going to even suggest or even think about taxing people with generators who will go and buy this expensive fuel to power their businesses? Because you have a lot of artisans that use generators to do their businesses. Homes, most homes are powered by generators. How are you going to do that? He's just going about taxing everybody, market women, pure water, sellers, keke, drivers. I mean, it's madness in Enugu State. It's tax. Just like you say, rice. We are here saying it's tax. Tax everything. That's his policy. And what he's doing with all this money he's generating, or he hopes to generate, it's what I don't know. So, yeah, the rice, I don't know why they don't mention beans. Beans is even more nutritious than rice. So whenever something happens, they bring out bags of rice and distribute. And even most of the palliatives, they've announced that they're distributing. How many people actually benefited from it? But compare it to what Dangote is doing. Very organized, very open. But government's own is always cloaked in secrecy. You don't know what is going on. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know which ministry to go. You don't know which department to go and make inquiries. So it's madness. Not only serve the prophets. This elder statesman, I think Adebanjo from Afenifere, said it also. He professed that if Peter Obi doesn't win this election, forget about Nigeria. And what are we saying? Fellow Nigerians, this is it. We are in a soup. The president's children, I don't know why. I'm sure his son is now with him he went with him to China. He tried to impose his candidate when the Nigerian Students Association were electing their leaders. The sister, Tinubu's daughter, went to Benin trying to impose her own candidates. What the market women are doing. What is going everywhere? Tinubu. If you want your children to be part of your administration, give them titles so that people will not complain again that they're following you around. They don't have any portfolio, but they're following you around. What is it? You are the petroleum minister. I think that's position should be, I think in the constitution, they're going to come up with, they should ban presidents handling any ministerial position. They are using it to cloak the inefficiency, the corruption, the nepotism, everything wrong going on with NNPC. This is what we're saying. They can't question him because he's the president. But can't he come and explain all this confusion so that Nigerians will understand? You are the petroleum minister. Explain to us what is going on. Don't leave it to your subordinates, because there's confusion everywhere. One person is saying something, the other person is saying something different. Huh? This is terrible.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tony. I believe that the people in Enugu State facing this very challenge, they know what to do. Because when the government is doing something else and the citizens are suffering, then they should know what to do. There's always this thing for protest, room for protest. And the protest is for people to actually do something about that. Why would a government that understands that things are very difficult in Nigeria go into attaching people to pay 80-something thousand naira for the use of solar panels and the generators? We can even understand generators because of the foaming, but what about the solar panels that, you know, that is energy, not emitting any sort of energy challenges? But anyway, that is left for the people of
borehole in their own compound. Borehole to get water.
Yeah.
Wow.
I came back the other day and saw on my gate a bill of 350,000 naira as house tax on my house by this government, the state government. Tell me,
well,
somebody who's not working, how can he get that kind of money? But everybody just ignored it. They're not implementing it yet.
I'm really
many people go to jail because
we don't have all and about how a government is taxing people for the use of solar panels and the use of generator. Like Tony said, everybody in their house have one form of I pass my neighbor that they call the small generators. How the government wants to go about this and the people keep quiet is entirely up to them. The people of Enugu State, and I understand it's also happening in some part of Imo State, that Imo State government of APC has also introduced that. It is entirely up to the citizens of these very states to reject payment for the use of solar panels when they are unable to provide them with power. Thank you so much, our panelists, starting with Mr. Bassi, Lord K, and Tony, every day devoting their time to share their views on the things that are happening in Nigeria. Thank you so much for being with us today. And also for you viewers, I want to specially thank you once again for always tuning in at every opportunity of us coming live to listen to what we have to say. We believe that a new Nigeria is possible, and it's all about hope. And that's why we say there is hope. Yes, without hope, we have nothing. And it is also hope that shatters everything when you lose it. So let's keep the hope going. Until tomorrow when we come back again. Thank you for now. Bye.